Good evening, everyone. We are indeed privileged to have Dr. Tyagi, a scientist of his stature, amongst us. His body of work is truly remarkable. He is working to propagate non-formal learning of science with various forms of communication, which is very, very interesting, sir. He is trying to connect science with the common problems and the current problems that are facing this world, and also working towards creating a scientific temper among the citizens of our country. In his own words, Dr. Tyagi has said that his target audience is from 5 years old to whatever age it goes up to. So that means almost every citizen of the country is his target audience. And to develop a scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform is one of the fundamental duties that is mentioned in our constitution also, sir. So it is a very interesting thing that you are working towards developing a scientific temper, because we are a population of over a billion plus, and to ensure a better life for this huge population, we do need science and scientific temper, and only science and its application can offer us solutions at that scale, at affordable prices, and we have to all work towards inclusive development. We cannot have development only for a few. So that is why this becomes very, very important. And to top it all, the new education policy, the education policy document 2020, talks about all of this. They talk about creative thinking, experiential learning, reflective thinking. So as we were just talking that some observations were made and penicillin was discovered. So like that, I think, the world needs more discoveries like that. And as we are facing this pandemic, we are looking forward to having some more good discoveries for the betterment of mankind. So, sir, we are looking forward to a very interesting and enriching session with you today. I will now hand over to our student Anya to take the session forward.
Good evening, everyone. I extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. We are delighted to have with us Dr. Brinda Kumar Tyagi, an eminent scientist. I also take this opportunity to welcome our guest of honor, Dr. Sushila Negi, and our principal, Mrs. Meenakshi Kushwaha, for gracing this occasion. Science is an intellectual and practical activity encompassing the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation and experiment. Dr. Tyagi has nearly 3 decades of insightful experience in the field of science and communication. This is with special reference to development and delivery of a wide variety of knowledge products that complement formal education interventions. This has been at the national level, including a special focus on communities that do not have access to information, learning, and related initiatives. He has delivered such knowledge products using multiple audio visuals and e-media, also for community engagement and participation. The most important aspect has been the opportunity to serve India's science and technology communication agenda from a science popularization perspective, enabling learning for the benefit of all citizens from all walks of life. He serves as Scientist F at Vigyan Prasad, an autonomous body of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Dr. Tyagi's work has been published in the national and international forum. Sir's work in science communication has been recognized mainly in many European and Asian countries. I now invite Dr. Tyagi to help us in exploring this wonderful world of nature. Thank you.
Thank you, Anya, for such a nice introduction. And uh, bu- uh, you gave a beautiful definition of science also. But I thought for today's session we will uh, develop or coin a new definition of science, not which is given in the book, like it's a systematic, study or blah blah blah. We'll try to understand the science as a process, or by doing through hands, and then understanding what is happening around us. Because if we look at around 150 years back, that time there was no word which is called science for the way we are using it. Earlier, the entire field was, we knew it as a philosophy of nature, because philosophy of nature means uh, nature is understood as a force, and which is trying to do thing in a certain way. And knowing those way, by following a particular methodology, and what the knowledge we derive is known as science. So we'll try to understand the science as a process, science as a method, and science as a product also. So that, because nowadays more and more people are talking about that science, then technology, and innovation. So what are those three words, and how, when we are going for the higher classes, what kind of mindset, what kind of attitude towards the subject we should have, so that we can contribute something original in the field of science. We will no more remain, or will not understand, we should not learn, or we should not study science as a history. Because it's a very unfortunate then when in our classroom situation, uh, we there is no difference the way we are teaching science and the history. It's in a chalk and talk, but only there are few classes for of experimentation. But science itself is only by observing a thing around us, finding a pattern in those things, and then explaining them, or coming out with a formula in a mathematical form. That's all about science. We will try to see that. So I'm sharing my screen, where I have so I'll take you to a journey with my this PowerPoint presentation, and it's a, you can say it will be a visual delight for all of you. And whenever in future you see anything, try to capture in your camera, because when I was young, I never had a chance to have a mobile and capture some of those images. But now I'm having my camera all the time with me, and will try to understand the dynamics of the nature. So here, this was a picture when immediately after the this rainy season, I saw this was a old tree trunk which was lying in the backyard of somebody's house. And I found there's a lot of this beautiful, life form, which we call it a fungus, or a kind of mushroom, but it is not edible mushroom. But here I was trying to find out what is the purpose. This was a dead pole, and now immediately the nature has started the process of recycling. Because nowadays there is a lot of emphasis on recycling, reuse, and I think 4 or 5 hour kind of thing which we are talking about. But nature has immediately start that thing. See, that's why, like, whenever we are, whatever the things we are bringing from the market, we always keep it into the fridge. We are if anything which has a organic basis of a life form, once it is dead, it start, the process of recycling immediately start on that. And that's why, like, there is no garbage on the planet Earth. Look at one example, the kind of garbage every day we are producing, and it get converted, recycled again into a manure, and it is a reusable. So This is the nature's plan, whatever it has produced. And if we go by our this the famous scripture, Bhagavad Gita, it also says that the reality of life is like uh, जो पैदा हुआ है वो उसका उसका मृत्यु भी निश्चित है, यानी जिस दिन हम पैदा होते हैं उस दिन हमारा जो मरने का जो डेथ का जो डेट है, इट इज ऑल्सो fixed. So that means this recycling is a process which by using our intellect, we have now developed certain molecules or certain material which is not biodegradable. So anything which is where which start degrading, it is called biodegradable. Now look at the example of now plastic. So plastic has been, that molecule was not made by the nature. It was created in the lab, and it is not biodegradable. So now you see, we have gone against the nature's plan without understanding. That's why nowadays in science we are talking about green chemistry, or green physics, or everything. So that green is that understanding that nature's plan, how the natures work. If we don't work according to that, then the problem like pollution or whatever the climate change and global warming which we are facing is very obvious. So this is a first example I have given you. Like this was the plastic, the person who developed that molecule in the lab was given Nobel Prize also. But nowadays we are thinking for the alternative of plastic, because it has created a havoc, because there is a more plastic than the weight wise in the sea than the number of fishes which we have. So you can imagine what kind of uh, chaos or disaster this molecule, which was not in the nature's plan, we made it. We went against the will of the nature, or you can say it was not eco-friendly, what generally we study in our class. So whatever the things, if we are not doing it in an eco-friendly way, that means without understanding the nature's plan or nature's thing, it will going to create a problem in near future to us. These are, and plastic is just one example. And now look at these two famous scientists. One is Einstein, and other is Stephen Hawking. So what is nature or God? So some people, when we say nature, nature is a force, some people say it is a God. And many times the Indian Vedanta system, which was found the formed the basis of his theory of relativity somewhere. uh, the Einstein used to believe in God. He say गॉड डज नॉट प्ले डाइस, यानी कि जो कुदरत है वो पासे नहीं फेंकती है. पासे इन द सेंस लाइक इट इज it's not random. It has a plan. So and understanding that plan may be a process, or and if we do the things according to that, we will never nature will never punish it. But at the same time, Stephen Hawking said there is no God. So it was and one was around 100 years back, and other is the recent one, who said that there is a no God. But during the last phase of his life, Stephen Hawking also, uh, not directly but through his lecture and all that, somewhere he acknowledged that force, which may be nature or God, whatever it depend on your belief system, what you call it. He also acknowledged somewhere about that. And and he's the person who gave the brief history of time, the theory of black hole. But the very genesis of his expansion of his thought and theory comes from the Einstein theory of somewhere in the relativity. So this is the period I'm saying, more than 100 years, through which this the understanding the nature or the God remain a continuous thrust. So as we'll take a clue from the Einstein point of view, that the God doesn't play dice, means, so whatever we see around us is there is a plan, there is a nature has a plan, and it has a purpose. So finding that purpose, finding that purpose is a you can say the objective of science. So now look at the whole thing, that the entire universe is governed by some law, because Anya has gave a definition. I'm saying let's have our own definition, and the definition is that we find that entire universe, and not the galaxies, but even a very small thing. Like look at once we put a seed into the soil, the root is always going towards the down, and the stem is coming upward. There is no exception to that. That means this is a fundamental, or you can say Sanatan Satya. It is an absolute truth. We cannot change that. So finding those fundamental truth, or Sanatan Satya is science. So and this entire universe is governed by certain law, and finding those law through a process is a science. uh, जब हमको उस साइंस का जो पूरा कहें कि पूरा ऑब्जेक्टिव या मैथमेटिकल प्रूफ या एक्सपेरिमेंटल प्रूफ जब तक नहीं मिलता है, it remain into the domain of theory, because and representing then those laws through mathematical equation is a again a method. Like यहाँ पे हम देखते हैं कि न्यूटन सेकंड लॉ ऑफ मोशन is given in a formula, and the Einstein that E is equal to mc square, that energy and mass is convertible, and he used this the speed of light as a constant. It is there. So that means science is nothing only finding the law of nature. And as we progress to the higher classes, uh, we use a particular method, and that method is universal, which is followed by all scientists across the country, across the world, because science as a whole is a universal subject. And then once we discovered that, then it is debated. And in science there is no permanent truth. There is always a scope, a window. If is some new fact, new finding, or new idea come, we are ready to accept to that. So now I'll give you one example, I think, which you can correlate. When we study the theory of evolution, Darwin theory of evolution, we still call it a theory of evolution. Means it is still at a theory level. And when we use the word, these first law of motion, second law of motion, these of Newton, these are laws. That means they are established. There is no like any doubt about it. And since 150 years they are as it is, there is no challenge has come to that. But now when we look at the theory of Darwin, there are many exceptions to that, and there are many other theories which are equally important now. Like the God creation theory is there, then there's a smart design theory which has recently come, that the how the nature or the God has made everything so smartly. The a person like Stephen Hawking is saying it is a result of evolution, organic evolution, but there are the other people who say no, it cannot be. The design is so smart, so perfect, that a person, it is a beyond the capability of ordinary person. So it has been made by this design has been created by God. So this parallel, these are the both parallel, both are the parallel approaches nowadays which are going on. Because in if you look at the USA में जो theory of evolution है, बहुत सारा जो कैथोलिक जो स्टेट है वहां पे वो थ्योरी ऑफ इवोल्यूशन नहीं पढ़ाया जाता है. दे स्टिल फॉलो द थ्योरी ऑफ द गॉड क्रिएशन थ्योरी, कि ये जो पूरा जो यूनिवर्स बनाया है, it has been created by God in a few days. It is not like it has evolved over a period of time, which the Stephen Hawking and the other people believe that there was a big bang, and before that the entire matter was so condensed that it was a point of singularity, and then there was a big blast in that, and then this universe start expanding. And we whatever we see the today is that the universe is still expanding. So we found a few proof in support of that also, but there are also the other proof which cannot be explained by this theory. So here we can say let's keep both the thing, and truth is somewhere in between. So now let's when we, so observation is very important, like what is happening around us, and then we have to measure it, quantify it, then comparison and contrast, then we have to classify them, then based on that we have to estimate, and for estimation and prediction we use mathematical tools, and then the interpretation, whatever the things which we have seen. As I told you, the god never play dice, it has a purpose, so that critical thinking and creative thinking give us that, the aspect, and then coming out with your you can say the conclusion. So let's come to and it's a very holistic approach. ये कहानी आपने सुनी होगी कि चार पांच लोगों को क्या बोलते हैं, उनको आंखों पे पट्टी बांध दिया, और एक हाथी को एक ने कान पकड़े, एक ने उसका सूंड पकड़ा, एक ने उसका टांग पकड़ा, and then the people were asking कि how is the elephant, so everybody was giving their own share of experience. कोई बोल रहा था कि वो he is like इस सूप के बराबर है, कोई बोल रहा था it's like a pillar, और it's like a जिसने पूंछ पकड़ा उसने बोला it's like a rope. But when the data from all these were put together, then the actual shape of this elephant emerges. So this was the whole idea in science we do. And now let's come to first law of nature, because if is symmetry. I'm starting with I'm giving you certain law of nature, and then the exercise will be on you to discover more such law of nature, because jitna law of nature ko aap discover kar payenge, you may be a inventor, you may be a innovator, because based on that, क्योंकि जो नेचर का जो लॉ है वो बहुत इको फ्रेंडली है, दे नेवर harm the nature itself, they always try to keep a balance, and such designs are also nowadays used in our green architecture or green chemistry or the other fields. Now look at, this is a leaf. Okay, this is a leaf, this is also a leaf, and this is also a leaf. So first observation is these are actually round. Okay, both of them, you can see this is also round. So now, but if we look at this, uh, both have is a cut here or slit here, but both are of heart shape. Okay, but interesting part is, now one is having, these edges which are have a sharp edges, like a जो हमारा आरी में जो होता है ना उसके दांत उस तरीके के, but the other one is flat, plain. So what I can infer from that, now let me see, uh, uh, if I ask you a question, uh, suppose a place, there is the wind speed is very high. Okay, now which plant has a more chance to to withstand the force of air here? Definitely this, because this will be, if it has to be like the pressure will be more here, but the air will pass through these edges and there will be less pressure. So in nature, because the law of conservation of energy is again a fundamental law, nature जो है वो energy बचाने की कोशिश करती है, तो सारे डिजाइन को वो इस तरीके से बनाती है कि एनर्जी का इस्तेमाल कम से कम खर्च हो। अब यहाँ पर अगर हवा ज्यादा है, और अगर ये वाला जो लीफ है, जो भी प्लांट्स वहां पर हैं, उसका लीफ अगर ऐसा होगा जिसमें ये कटिंग नहीं है, तो इसको ज्यादा क्या बोलेंगे, प्रेशर अपने आप या एनर्जी खर्च करनी पड़ेगी अपने बचाव के लिए। Okay, so here to by this design it has like जो physics यहाँ पे इस the plant is using that physics to reduce the pressure. What is the best option? To have this leaf design like that. So this is the plan of nature here. So that means you will find these kinds of plant with such leaf at such places where the wind speed is generally very high, and you can find these plants or these kind of leaf structure at those places where the wind speed throughout the year is not so high. Okay, Now, the design of nature. This is, you can you guess like what this structure is? Because whenever I'm showing this slide in a live demo, so most of the things are coming that it is a dhatura fruit. Okay, the but it is a virus which is being shown under electronic microscope, where the magnification is more than 1.5 lakh times. Okay, now this is a virus, but look at how much karigari, or can say the craftsmanship, has been done by nature here also. All those spikes, like we also have a spike on coronavirus, but these all spikes are placed, they are all equidistance. Okay, so and again this is a round. So in your classes you have been your teacher is telling you which shape is more stable or more energy efficient. Is a triangle, rectangular, or circle? I think it is a triangle. Or circle is because when you are if the any pressure of air or radiation is coming, so only the portion which is coming into contact is only this much. So this, and by this, it is a proven fact that the circle are the most energy efficient shape in the nature or in the universe, I should say. And most of the things where the things are circular in shape. You see any fruit, any vegetable, majority of them have a round shape, because by acquiring that shape, the external pressure they can minimize. So that means the plant is using less energy in terms of protecting itself, and that energy is being utilized to be converted into a biomass, so that it can have a more biomass, so to be more productive and to have the next progeny. So there are two second fundamental law is the law of conservation of energy, which we say ki that in all the shape nature has designed such a way which are most energy efficient shapes. सो हम लोग अपना घर बनाते हैं या जो बिल्डिंग्स बनाते हैं, इफ वी लुक एट, वी आर मेकिंग मोर एनर्जी इंसेंटिव, more energy input is required in those buildings or those houses. So if we look at the nature, how the nature has planned, if we go back to the first picture itself, this one, this is a onion flower. So onion flower, you can see the arrangement of this, where the seeds are being formed. It is again coming in a shape is a round shape. And this is a green, still green. That means the photosynthesis is happening here. So it has been designed such a way that throughout the day, some portion of this flower is getting a sunlight, so that the process of photosynthesis is on till the time the sun is not set from that part of the earth. So this is, you can again see in terms of energy, optimum utilization of sun energy by the plant through their designs. Okay, now this cactus I saw in a garden, and I took the photographs, and I found because how we discover the law of nature is discovering the patterns, what is happening, because nature has a very few designs, it's all repetitive. सो एक ही चीज को मिला के वो फिर एक कॉम्बिनेशन में एक बड़ा डिजाइन बनता है, बट वेयर यू कैन फाइंड द पैटर्न, एंड दोस पैटर्न कैन बी रिप्रेजेंटेड मैथमेटिकली एंड देन फाइनली इन अ फॉर्मूला फॉर्म, जो हम इक्वेशन कहते हैं. अब यहाँ पे अगर इफ यू लुक एट दिस कैक्टस, दो चीजें जो बेसिक है, they are the energy efficiency and the purpose. So this cactus has, you know, there one, these are 1 2 3 4 5, these parts are there, and each part, one has a long spine, then the other has four small, then again one long, then upper one is having three or four such spines. So this is the pattern. So by having this design, this plant has ensured that it is using very less amount of biomass, okay, in spines only. And by having this design, it has ensured the maximum area कि कोई भी जो जानवर है, nibbling animal है, उसको खाएगा तो it can protect itself. So दोनों छोटा भी और बड़ा स्पाइन लगाने से इसको ज्यादा बायोमास इस्तेमाल करना पड़ता, but it has not done that. It has very smartly, very intelligently, it has designed itself in such a way to minimize the use of biomass, and the purpose was to get the protection. So ये डिजाइन से भी उसको उतना प्रोटेक्शन मिल सकता है. So हम बोलते हैं कि हम लोग बहुत इंटेलिजेंट हैं, but look at how the plants are intelligent as well. So यही हमको देखना है कि जो भी हमारे आसपास नेचर में जो हो रहा है, उसमें क्या पैटर्न हमको नजर आता है और पैटर्न का पर्पस क्या है. दिस इज ओनली साइंस. And what is the, and giving that interpretation, observation, collecting that I mean series of observation, can we find a pattern into that, and then this pattern can be converted or represented through a equation or formula. That's all science is, जो भी हम साइंस में करते हैं. तो क्योंकि पहले जो सब्जेक्ट साइंस को बोला जाता था उसको फिलोसफी ऑफ नेचर कहा जाता था, क्योंकि साइंस इज, एज आई टोल्ड यू, is only the जो universe is being governed by certain laws, and finding those laws. The nature has already discovered that. We are rediscovering, basically. We are not inventing, we are not discovering. It's already there. We are just you can say we are rediscovering it. And many times those fundamental basic principle is being used to develop the technology. Yes, technology is a man-made you can say venture. उसमें नेचर बहुत सारे जो साइंटिफिक प्रिंसिपल है वो इस्तेमाल करती है, बट उसको ऑब्जर्व करके हम अपने पर्पस के लिए सर्क्यूमेंट कर सकते हैं. that will, I'll come to that aspect also. And now, as I told you, कि नेचर के पास डिजाइन्स की कमी है, क्योंकि एनर्जी एफिशिएंट डिजाइन्स चाहिए और उसमें बहुत कमी हो जाती है. तो ये आपको याद होगा कि जब वाटसन और क्रिक ने डीएनए मॉलिक्यूल का जब मॉडल जो स्ट्रक्चर बनाया था, वो पहले इट वाज लाइक दैट, लाइक ए सीडी. और उसमें वो बोलते हैं कि डीएनए टोटल जो जो जेनेटिक मटेरियल होता है, क्रोमेटिन होता है, उसको अगर हम डीकॉइल करें तो वो एक सेल से वो उसकी लंबाई मून तक जा सकती है. यू कैन इमेजिन इतना. बट उसमें अगर वो इफ इट्स लाइक ए लैडर, सो देन इतना लंबा लैडर के लिए देयर इज ए वेयर द स्ट्रेंथ विल कम. सो दिस वाज अ क्वेश्चन कि इतनी लंबी सीढ़ी बनाने के लिए आप सोचेंगे कि जो उसके जो ये जो दोनों उसके जो बैम्बोज है, दोनों जो स्ट्रैंड है, दे शुड बी वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग. And in such a small structure cannot have that much strength. So this model of initial model was rejected. And then they say कि then what should be the possible mode of that thing. तो बोले कि अगर if it has a coiled, so then it can go, because then the strength is mechanical strength is required only to hold this much structure. Again this much for the next phase. So that means that entire force has been divided. So how this idea might have occurred to them? So this is say this is a algae, Spirogyra, and this is a chloroplast, which also have a very long strand of the chloroplast, but this is also not found as a straight strand. It is in a coil form. So that DNA structure, which is such a microscopic level, you find the same that coil structure in the chloroplast of this is Spirogyra actually. This algae is known as, but it is found in many other. You can see the same structure. So nature repeat their structure at many places. So same design, but taking or giving a different, you can say, by using them at different places. One more example I'll take here. This is a galaxy. This is our galaxy, Milky Way galaxy, and we are somewhere here. Okay, so now this galaxy, you can see the shape, and this is a cyclone. This is a satellite picture, and you will find that the spiral component is same in such a huge galaxy. And when we look at this the cyclone, because when we see the eye structure clockwise or anti-clockwise is there when we see it in a northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, but this is in the northern hemisphere. You can see the similarity. So same design which has been used for such a big galaxy is also used for this thing. And now you can see the spiral galaxy, shape of spiral galaxy, and this is a cyclone. So same structure, same design nature is using. uh, and then look at the beautiful design. These are the snowflakes, और जो बर्फ गिरती है, हमारा जो फ्लोरिंग का डिजाइन बनाते हैं ना हम लोग, अगर पुराना देखा होगा, if you go to any the imperial building or Mughal period का जो building है, you will find the flooring of marble with these kinds of designs. So nature gives us a lot of beautiful designs, and how these designs are being made, they're still unknown. We don't know. Well, snowflakes, when the snow is falling on the ground, if you happen to see the snowfall, just take a black paper sheet and collect some of those and look at through the lens. You will find these kinds of beautiful crystalline structure of snow, and which are perfect geometrical shape. And how it is happening, still there are a lot of theories, but we don't have a conclusive proof. So there are still a lot of mysteries of nature which we have not understood. And by understanding that, we can come out, it could be our we can make some discovery or some new innovation based on that the mystery of nature, if we understand it through the process. uh, and now again, this is still, I am still to find the answer for that, because this is a river, and this is a snake. So one is a non-living object and other is a living object, but the flow of river and the movement of snake, they move in a same way. And what is the science in that? This is I find some clue to that question, I mean to that observation in some book, but I'm not fully satisfied, so I'll not share it with you. But if you happen, so this is an exercise I'm giving you, कि एक river का जो flow है, it is a non living thing, और एक स्नेक है वो लिविंग थिंग है, लेकिन दोनों एक ही जैसे चलते हैं। दोनों का जो मूवमेंट है, इट इज नेवर स्टेट। कि जब भी आप अपने क्लासरूम में एक नेचुरल सीन बनाते हैं, तो रिवर इज ऑलवेज फ्लोइंग लाइक दैट, it is never straight, it is like that. So why river flow like this and snake also move like this? So that means there is a relationship between the length and the breadth. If we like, if I'll uh, take a part from here, uh, this length, and after that it's change its course. Same is here. This is the size, this is the length and breadth. If I take a ratio, after that it take a turn. So that means this pattern is there, but same is here. So can I give some new meaning to that, so that a law of nature should emerge from that? Okay, so this I'm not. And now look at how the one more thing is like, nature is given a weapon to every life form to protect itself. So here you can see this is a termite, and this is a owl. So camouflage, how I can, by hiding myself or by merging myself with my immediate environment, so my chances of my survival increases. So here you can see this is a owl, his eyes, and see this is a termite over which this you can see the same eyes, which is giving an impression that I am not a weak or a small a tiny life form. I'm so big because my eyes are big, because the eyes has a particular proportion of your body size. So here it is confusing its enemy. And same camouflage is you might have seen all the film Uri, where the our soldiers were using that dress to camouflage with uh, the their ambience. So these all ideas of optimizing your effort, maximizing the input your effort, it comes when we observe, when we are very observant about the things which are happening around us. So first thing, to become a scientist, you have to be very very good observant, in the sense whatever you see something which surprises you, which amazes you, just note it down, consult with your teacher, your parents, your grandparents, and try to find out the meaning for that. If you think like you are not able to find a satisfactory answer, like the way for which I have shown you the snake and the river, for which I haven't find any answer yet, uh, then try to investigate. You will find definitely that's the whole uh, you can say we call it a research. Okay, so here some exercise now I'm trying to give you is that uh, uh, take a tree as a as your unit, to understand first your first interaction with the nature, and find the history, the and the place where it is found, and what are the education value of that biodiversity which you find on a tree. Because when you see a tree like a people tree or neem tree, you find a lot of insect over that, birds, mammal over that. So what, how much life form in a different season, if you observe a tree at a particular time daily throughout a year, you will find the different changes in that tree, the different life form which appear, which lived there and then went away. And then the culture and tradition, what is the cultural and traditional value of that tree. If I say what is the neem has a lot of medicinal property. If we say the people tree has a lot of the value in Indian system. And there is also a myth about that tree, that it gives oxygen in the night also. That is wrong. So you try to demystify those fact also, the belief also, which people believe. Because uh, uh, very fundamental principle is that the oxygen is produced in the plant as a byproduct of photosynthesis, and photosynthesis uh, take place only in the presence of light. If there is no light, no photosynthesis, no oxygen. So in the night, whether it is a people tree or neem tree or any other tree, in dark, no plant produces oxygen. Yes, what is the point here is that plant are also living organism. They also take oxygen and releases कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड, जैसे हम करते हैं, हम सांस लेते हैं, ऑक्सीजन अंदर जाती है, और जब बाहर निकालते हैं तो कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड निकलती है। और ये ऑक्सीजन हमारा जो हमारा ग्लूकोज है उसको ब्रेक करके जो हम एनर्जी, मैं आपसे बात कर रहा हूँ, हाउ आई एम गेटिंग एनर्जी, बिकॉज आई एम बर्निंग माई ग्लूकोज बाय टेकिंग ऑक्सीजन। अगर मैं ऑक्सीजन ना लूं तो वो बर्न नहीं होगा। जब आपने देखा होगा कि प्लेयर बहुत तेजी से भागता है, सो इट एग्जॉस्ट all their means like energy, in the sense it has a lactic acid in their muscles, और वो फिर he has to take rest, which and then he has to breathe bit fast just to take lot of intake of oxygen. तो लेकिन ये एक रेशियो होता है ऑक्सीजन लेने और कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड छोड़ने का. So that quotient is in many of those Indian plant is is low as compared to other plant, and it include with the बेर का पेड़ जो होता है, then पीपल का पेड़ है, बेल पत्थर है. So these are some plants which has this property. So that's why in our forefather have recognized the importance of those plants scientifically, and that's why they were made like they were included as a part and parcel of our daily culture, in sense of worshipping them, protecting them. So you look at the other plants and you will find the कि जो भी प्लांट जहां भी आप रहते हैं, जिस सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, जिस एरिया में आप रहते हैं, जिस जगह में आप रहते हैं, वहां पे अगर आप देखेंगे तो और जो भी प्लांट है, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो इंडियन कल्चर में उनका इम्पोर्टेंस हो, बिकॉज इट डिपेंड the availability. So some plant may be having an importance in other culture of different part of the world, not only in India. Okay, so try to find out that, and फेस्टिवल में क्या उसका इम्पोर्टेंस है. जनरली अभी तो हम लोग चाइनीज प्रोडक्ट खरीदते हैं या मार्केट से खरीदते हैं, बट can we make our festival more eco-friendly in terms of making thing from the material which is available? If you go to Kerala and the southern state, you will find कि वहाँ पे जब हमारा जो भी फेस्टिवल्स होते हैं उसमें बहुत कम ऐसी चीजें हैं जो बाजार से खरीदी जाती हैं. अदरवाइज इट इज कमिंग स्पेशली इन द केरला. वो एक बहुत रिच ट्रेडिशन है वहाँ पे, नेचर के साथ एक बोलते हैं कि अपना एक रिलेशन बना के रहने का, और तभी वो उसको गॉड गॉड ओन कंट्री और गॉड ओन स्टेट कहा जाता है. दुनिया का भगवान का अपना घर उसको कहा जाता है, मतलब एज ए एनालॉजी उसके बारे में की जाती है. एंड देन द इम्पोर्टेंस इन आर्ट, क्योंकि आप देखते हैं कि बहुत सारा जो पेंटिंग है उसका फ्रेम है या उसका जो बोर्ड है, इट कम्स फ्रॉम ए पर्टिकुलर wood of a tree. So it's not like you can use any wood for anything. फर्नीचर आपके घर में जो बनता है वो एक खास किस्म की लकड़ी का, जिसमें हम बोलते हैं कि जो हमारा टीक वुड है इज द मोस्ट not only expensive but it is a most durable. And why it is so? So do you have a teak plant around you? And then the entertainment value. When you were a child, when I was a child, we used to play a lot of games which were having the tree as a unit. So nowadays you don't play, you play everything on computer. So try to collect those games which ask your mother, father and your forefather and slightly like elderly people around your area, ask them like if they can give you the name of that game where this which was played using, where the tree used to be one like prop for that game. So try to document them, because nowadays we are trying to this come under traditional knowledge system, and we are now trying to collect that thing, because many things we are very poor in documentation. So you take some of those projects, if you can say, and the medicinal use definitely, like neem, people and all that. Ayurveda has so many property of different Indian plants. It's a more than 5,000 plants has been described in that as a which has a medicinal value. And the politics, because if you look at the Bishnoi community, the whole movement of protecting the tree of khejri tree in Rajasthan, it become a political movement, because the king asked to cut down the tree, and they killed so many women and people, and then the entire movement started in that country and state, and the ruler were dethroned finally. And so you can imagine like the how a tree has as a different role being played in this, and the economy exactly, because the what is the economic value, why the teak plant is the most expensive, teak furniture is most expensive as compared to a kikar or shisham, the other tree. So these are information. If you select a tree around you and try to collect these information about that tree, I think this will be a great contribution, not only to the society but to your understanding of your connectivity with that plant in first and then in nature in turn as a whole. And then, like, this is the thing, I think this was the picture where you can see the how this the people, this Vishnoi community, this khejuri tree is being saved, and they were killed, so many people were killed. So here you can see the you can try, you can have the map of the tree of your society. So this is a I think very simple method. You take a graph paper and divide into a scale down way about the size of your area of your society, and then see, like your hair, you divide this graph into two parts, and then these are the T1 T2 layer, I mean the right side, you can say this T1 T2, these are the tree, and here this is you have the index them like that. So whenever I think we can have a full session on that. So this is then the bark impression, because this is whatever the tree you are selecting, you of whenever it's growing, every time you will find like your, like, as your thumb impression is a unique, same way every tree of different species have their own bark impression. So by collecting the bark impression of the tree in your society or in your area, uh, you can make a catalog, and you try to find out the pattern of those bark impression in that. It's very interesting. Means like the way we know about the thumb impression, same way you can find, and you will find that those, through those pattern, you can also identify the tree. Which tree is that, the neem tree or the people tree, acacia tree, whatever is the tree you have in your area, you will find that each one has a different bark impression. And this is a method of means like measuring the height of a tree. So it is a technometrical method. I think we should not discuss on that. When we'll meet personally, I think that time I'll teach you that. uh, and then no, it's a one more question, because uh, all the time we say we grow more plant. Why we grow more plant? The answer which is written in the book is that it gives us oxygen. That is also a wrong fact. Most of the oxygen which we breathe is coming from the sea, because sea is 70% and 33% is the land mass. And land mass may the kind of oxygen we need cannot be produced by the tree collectively. So it is coming from the algae which are in the sea. uh, Tree are required mainly, why? Because they protect the soil, they anchor the soil. So soil erosion plus, like we all are in Delhi, if Delhi has a more tree, look at the quality of the air. So it will, all the tree will work as a filter of air. वो छलनी का काम करते हैं हमारे लिए। अगर अब अगर इतना ट्री दिल्ली में नहीं होता, दिल्ली is quite green as compared to other city, I think the quality of air would have been much worse in terms of SPM, जो बोलते हैं ना, सस्पेंडेड पर्टिकुलर मैटर, जो होता है, जो हवा में जो छोटे छोटे पार्टिकल्स होते हैं, वो आके आपने देखा होगा कि पेड़ों के ऊपर सेटल हो जाते हैं, है ना। और इसीलिए अभी दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट बोल रहा है कि पेड़ों को धोना पड़ेगा। अ, लेकिन जितना ज्यादा होगा उतना ज्यादा हम देखेंगे कि टेम्परेचर भी कम होता है वहां पे, एंड सॉइल का इरोजन भी कम होता है, प्लस द एयर क्वालिटी इज ऑल्सो बेटर। So trees are, we need to plant more tree, but not with the understanding that it will give an oxygen. It will protect us. It will protect our soil. It will give us a clean air in terms of working as a filter to the air. So ये थोड़ा सा misconceptions हैं जो हमारा पढ़ने के दौरान we pass on those concepts or those information to children which are factually not correct. And this is like generally we organize a lot of nature activity camp for children, the thing which I'm talking about, you to understand the dynamics of nature, understand the the minor aspect of nature, so that if we keep those things, if we make that habit of observing, measuring, collecting, documenting those things, I think we may discover something new which has not come uh, to before the world yet. So these all childrens, they were from Odisha, Ashram Shala school, Eklavya school, uh, which for them we organized that camp. And you can see, so uh, how the nature has worked so finely in all its life form. They try to understood through these activities. So there, so now the other activity which I'm trying to give you is like, try to collect the shape of the canopy of the tree which you have around you. Because this is again, uh, the canopy is the outer appearance of a tree. So this is like, this is a canopy, this is a juniperus tree. If you see, juniperus is like that. So you can draw them like that, and you can collect a inventory of the canopy of different tree, where you can identify them. You can ask, because if you, in your society, if you have the caretaker, especially the gardener will be your the best teacher in that case, in identification of plant. Because when I was a student in Delhi University, we had been to Sundar Nursery in Delhi, Sujan Singh Park, many times. And I was amazed by the knowledge of that Mali, that gardener. He knew not only the common name, but the botanical name, of or the scientific name of all the plant which they he which this nursery is having. So that means, like, one of our uh, b- uh, bigger exercise always is remembering the scientific name and identification. So this nursery, and this the gardener or the caretaker of that nursery used to be our best teacher in giving information about this thing. So you can do this thing. These are all doable activity. And then try to find out the meaning, why different uh, tree has a different canopy, and what kind of advantage, this is the interpretation of nature, is they are having by having this kind of canopy. Okay. And then this is again, means like, b- because when we do organize camp for the children, we ask the children to make their own equipment for measurement. And then through nature walk, they collect sample, observe sample, and then finally study them like in a living condition. This is a terrarium where you can all keep your sample, living sample, in a such a way that you can observe them for 2 3 days, and then you leave them back in the nature. So like small insect, butterflies, caterpillars, uh, and various termites and insects, all these kinds of things. So this is, and again now, how we, like, nature has assigned a specific responsibility to each life form. वो बोलते हैं ना कि जितना भी लाइफ फॉर्म बना है, सबसे ऊपर आदमी है हमारा। जो गीता में जो लिखा है, भागवत गीता में लिखा है कि 84 लाख योनि बदलने के बाद, मैंने, यू हैव टू pass through a 84 lakhs form life form before you come before you have the body of human being. हाँ, आदमी की योनि, ऐसा लिखा है कि आदमी की योनि प्राप्त करने के लिए आपको 84 लाख योनियों से गुजरना पड़ता है। और जो बैकवर्ड जो सारी हमारा लाइफ फॉर्म है, वो उसमें हमारे पास क्या एबिलिटी है, हमारा, हम अपने, वो जैसा एनवायरनमेंट है वो उसी में रह सकते हैं, उसको बदल नहीं सकते। दे कैन नॉट चेंज देयर इमीडिएट सराउंडिंग, बट ह्यूमन बीइंग कैन डू इट, because they have a ability of reasoning, they have a ability of logic, they have a ability of improvement. Like, you have seen the weaver bird, since the this bird was evolved, he is making his nest in the same way. But human beings, they started living in caves, then they start making huts, and now you can see such a huge building they are making. We have changed, we are changing every day. And but the other life form cannot do it. So this ability to change our immediate surrounding, uh, is only with the human beings. और उसने वो उस ability से पूरा अपना आसपास का माहौल खराब कर दिया. And now we are having a problem of such a pollution and climate change and global warming. But at the same time, this human being is thinking now to bring back to that situation. यानी कि एक बारी हम खराब भी अगर हम कर सकते हैं तो उसको इम्प्रूव करने का, उसको सुधारने के बारे में भी हम ही सोच रहे हैं. That's why the entire world and the children and the student community has come together to create an awareness about save the environment, plant more trees, save the birds, save the tiger, save the elephant, kind of things are happening because we now realize the importance कि अगर वो है तो हम भी रहेंगे. No doubt we are much more improved form. And why we are improved lot as compared to other life form? Again, because there's a very simple thing here that we can use our thumb. आपको याद है महाभारत की कहानी कि जब द्रोणाचार्य ने एकलव्य को देखा था कि वो तो अर्जुन से भी अच्छा बाण चला रहा है, तो उन्होंने बोला कि उसने पूछा कि तुमने किससे सीखा. तो उसने बोला कि मेरे गुरु तो द्रोणाचार्य हैं. वो तो मैंने तो कभी सिखाया नहीं तुमको. तो बोला कि मैंने आपका एक देखो ये मिट्टी का मूर्ति बना के रखा है अपने आश्रम में और मैं अब उसको सामने रख के मैं प्रैक्टिस करता हूँ. So then, because Dronacharya has already given a promise to Arjun that you will be going to the best, Dhanudhar of the world. So, and then he has said, ki, then if you think I'm your guru, now give me the Guru Dakshana. और गुरु दक्षिणा में उन्होंने पता है क्या मांगा था? एकलव्य का अंगूठा. Because this is the first tool which human being has used to change its immediate surrounding. You do one experiment कि आप एक सुई को नीचे गिरा दीजिए, निडल को, और उसको उठाइए, तो आप देखेंगे कि अंगूठा और ये उंगली, ये अंगूठा और ये उंगली को लेके आप बहुत आराम से सुई को उठा सकते हैं. But now if I'll give you that exercise, do it without using your thumb. Pick up that needle without using your thumb. Then you will realize how difficult is that. So other animals, even mammals, they cannot use their thumb. It is the only human being, and this is the first tool for which help him to create that wonders around itself because of this thumb. अगर थम नहीं होता तो हम लोग भी ये सब नहीं कर पाते. तो ये जो इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ हर एक लाइफ फॉर्म का है कि ये डिफरेंट लेयर ऑफ सॉइल्स हैं, इसमें अगर हम कुछ अर्थवर्म छोड़ देते हैं, हम देखते हैं कि 15 दिन में ये सॉइल जो है पूरा होमोजेनाइज्ड हो जाता है. सो दिस इज जस्ट टू गिव द कॉन्सेप्ट कि जो एनवायरनमेंट में हाउ अर्थवर्म्स आर इम्पोर्टेंट, how they are a very good friend of farmer, but using a lot of pesticide, insecticide, we have finished them, and that's why the soil is now turning barren because जो porosity है soil का वो नहीं आ रहा है. And this is the one you can say the worst example of this is our Punjab state, where the soil, despite giving all best input, the productivity is not increasing, and this is one of the cause of soil becoming very fertile. Is one of the cause of suicide in different parts of our country. So here this experiment, this exercise gave us a importance of all the life form, micro life form, microflora and fauna in the soil, so that whenever we are using pesticide or insecticide, how much harm we are doing to the biodiversity and to the ecosystem of the soil, and which in turn is creating a disaster for us. So this all, and these are some equipment. So this is by this pipe we can see the life form under the water. This is just a simple PVC pipe having a polythene sheet here, single sheet, and pasted like this. And then you can, if you see, you can see that. And this is a ant house, because generally we don't see how the ants live in colony. So this is a exercise. This is a plaster of Paris. We made a block like this, and then we covered it with a glass sheet, and by putting some sugar crystal, we cover it with this glass, and then with a jute bag with a bit moisture, and we'll see within a 4 5 days, not in winter but in summer, the colony in of ants is being formed. So by the top view you can see the movement of how they work, how they cooperate, how they live. So this is a social behavior of ants, and this is a greenhouse. Why we use greenhouse and how it is useful, and then there's a a germination of seed, like discovering again law of nature. So most of the time when we germinate a seed, so it's what, like it's a root or the shoot which is coming first. So we can see that, and there was a one experiment which was done in space on a, we call it a mere experiment. uh, if this is the rule, if we germinate a seed in a space where the gravity is not there, where what will happen? So through those kinds of thing, we try to open up the mental horizon of uh, student in terms of uh, like what we see is a normal situation, but if it's a not normal, then what will be the result? So it is like means like critical thinking, asking them to think beyond what generally you see. So this is like how we can different part of the plant can give new plants in terms of, these are again experiment actually generally when we do, and this is like compiling information. So you can see the leaf printing, every plant has a different leaf, every shape, size, everything. So through that they get in a comparison, and this give us and we ask them to how the advantage or disadvantage of this structure is for this plant. So uh, so these are some of the activity which were done by different these are the sample collected. So here looking at that, they tried different, these are the different shapes of leaf. So what are the advantage of having this broad leaf, narrow leaf? So it gives a very good picture of the ecology of that area. So by looking at that leaf or those sample collected, a fairly very good idea about the environmental condition of an area can be made. So like as I told you, the nature has worked equally very hard on a virus also and a plant also. So if we look at closely, we find so much beautiful arrangement of leaf on a branch. So collecting those information, and also what is the idea of having this kind of thing. So you will find it all is depending on the sunlight, and the design of each branch is such that the entire day each leaf should get the maximum exposure to the sunlight. That's the whole nature's plan here, so that the photosynthesis occur throughout the day. And uh, and these are the different shape of the leaves which our student which are listening to us can collect and try to give a meaning why the leaf is this, and what advantage this plant is having by having this shape. And these are the leaf margin, as I told you, leaf, some are there is some have this edges, some are purely plain. So these again all we started our discussion that nature uh, uh, never play dice. So here everything has a meaning, and discovering, finding that meaning is science only. That's called the process of science. And if we come out, so same advantage, you can imagine like this leaf of this kind might have been observed by someone before making that आरी होती है ना, अगर आप कारपेंटर के पास देखा होगा ना, उसमें जो एजेस होते हैं, what is the advantage of that edges? That it can cut the by reducing that surface area, the friction, you can cut a very hard surface. So the idea might have come from to the primitive man from these kinds of observation. That's why I'm saying, like, if you want to be a scientist, be a very, very keen observer what is happening around you. Note it down. If you don't find any explanation to that, discuss with your elders, your parents, and the people around you. And you can also, like, people like me of my community scientists, you can go and talk to them. They will also help you. And these are again the leaf tip. So you can see nature has worked, so beautifully. Some are, have a tip, some are totally blunt. So why it is so? Finding that meaning will be, give us, and this is like the leaf base. You can see the craftsmanship of nature you will find at each and every place. Okay, so these are some of the things which the student made. We call it a leaf stew. So the whatever the sample they collect which are not displayed, so they use it creatively and make some interesting objects like this. Uh, so this is all. This is a flower diversity. Like, this is all part of a sample collection, uh, and this is about the fruits. And okay, so this is one group of our children. They have doing it, that the shadow puppet on and play, and a lot of environmental uh, the play on the environmental aspect they have been performing. And the teachers are also using this mode of teaching method in the classroom also. It's a very simple, it's a butter paper, and these are small puppets. You can easily make it out. And then there is a light at one side, and then the shadow is coming. So the children are performing those play. So the lot of information about this, the environment, can be given through this kind of thing. And now in the last, I'm coming to that, because in the beginning we were talking about the corona. So coronavirus is a new virus, because बहुत सारा controversy हो रहा है. I thought कि before I conclude myself, this is the most relevant topic, or the information you should have, all our children. And यहाँ पे पिक्चर में देख रहे कि ये कोरोना वायरस एक बच्चे के पीछे पीछे जा रहा है, और वो बच्चे ने जाके ही वॉश हिज हैंड, एंड इमीडिएटली आप देख रहे हैं कि कोरोना का वायरस दूर भाग रहा है उससे. So here, why the this corona is a new virus. ये मतलब, और आया ये जानवरों से है. तो हम देखते हैं कि जो चमगादड़ से ये वायरस आया, बैट से ये आया है. बैट के साथ ही आराम से रह रहा था. इट वाज नॉट क्रिएटिंग एनी प्रॉब्लम फॉर टू द बैट. बट as through some intermediate phase, it has come to human beings. It has created a disaster, and it has changed genetically and morphologically. आप ये देख रहे हैं, इसको कोरोना वायरस क्यों बोलते हैं? Because it has a spikes like a crown on his structure. और ये क्राउन जो है, यही क्राउन में हमारा, जो आपने देखा होगा कि ये जो सार्स का जो वायरस था पहले वाला, इसका जो कजन है, वो सीधा लंग्स में जाके प्रॉब्लम करता था. बट इसके साथ क्या है कि ये गले में रहता है लंग्स में जाने से पहले. और जब तक गले में रहता है, मेनी टाइम देर इज नो सिम्टम्स इन द पर्सन. सो asymptomatic that person is, but he is a carrier. Like, suppose I having a small infection in my throat. I think it's a small it's a routine cold or something like that. It is not affecting me at that stage almost for 7 to 10 days. But I am a carrier. I can infect other people. When I am talking to them, I'm sneezing, I'm coughing, or I'm speaking loudly if I'm not using a mask. So this is the most dangerous part of that. But nature always give us, some help in terms of thing. This virus has a genetic material, then the coding of protein and the fat in which these spikes are, inserted. तो अगर हम जब हम कोई भी चिकनाई, यानी कोई भी फैटी चीज या ऑयली चीज या ग्रीसी चीज हमारे कपड़े या हाथ में लग जाती है, so we found that washing it with the soap help us to remove that grease. तो वो ग्रीस रिमूव होने से इसका जो प्रोटेक्शन शील्ड है, इसका जो स्ट्रक्चर है, वो कोलैप्स हो जाता है एंड इट बिकम इनएफेक्टिव. So till the vaccine come, I think why we have been insisting, this entire scientific community, doctors or the corona warriors are saying wash your hand periodically, at least 5 to 6 times in a day with the ordinary soap, not necessary with the sanitizer or बहुत सारा टीवी में एड्स आ रहा है, इतना सारा प्रोडक्ट का आ रहा है, बट एनी ऑर्डिनरी सोप जिसमें आपको झाग आता है और उसको हमको 20 से 22 सेकंड तक धोना है. And here also the science is because uh, like grease remove hota hai, it's a physical process. The soap and oil, you know, they form a एक ग्रीसी सब्सटेंस जो बनता है, आपने अगर साइंस में पढ़ा होगा कि हाइड्रोफिलिक हाइड्रोफोबिक एंडिंग जो टेल होता है, इज द सेम थिंग इज वर्किंग हियर. सेम साइंस, वेरी सिंपल साइंस इज देयर. सो fat is dissolved in soap. So we are dissolving that fat into the soap, by which this virus is removed physically, plus uska structure has been destroyed and it is no more effective. So with these words, I think I hope you keep yourself safe till the vaccine comes about this coronavirus, by washing your hand regularly in a day 4 to 5 times, wearing mask, avoiding physical proximity, or maintaining the safest distance from each other where you are outside, or even if you are coming to school as well. So with this word, Anya, thank you very much for giving me and listening me patiently. And if you have any question, I think I'll be try to answer that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. When we told our students that we would be interacting with Dr. Brinda Kumar, almost all of them want time. We have a few questions that I would like my fellow mates to put forward. Now, I would like Sanvi Raina to put up the first question.
Good evening, sir. I am Sanvi Rana of class 5th. It's an honor to speak with you. My question for you this evening is, could scientists perfectly simulate the entire universe in a computer, down to the last atom?
Okay, very interesting question. देखो, एक कंप्यूटर में कुछ भी क्रिएट करने के लिए हमको उसको एक प्रोग्राम बनाना पड़ता है. Okay, means like we have to make a program. We do a lot of coding, and coding is nothing. We are trying to providing a input to form a base for the information. So जितना हमारा इंफॉर्मेशन बेस या कोडिंग हमारा परफेक्ट होगा, एब्सोल्यूट होगा, एक्यूरेट होगा, उतना हम यूनिवर्स को एसिमुलेट कर पाएंगे. बट हमारा जो यूनिवर्स का जो जानकारी है वो अभी 4 फंडामेंटल फोर्स पर ही है. Okay, so that is also we have a limited perception of universe, which is based on 4 fundamental forces. Suppose there is a one more force which we don't know, which is yet to be discovered. So same day or same time, it is an additional information, additional input. We have to change our model or the basis of information. But theoretically, the answer of your question is yes, we can do, but it is a very difficult or tedious task, in the sense because our understanding of universe is also growing with the time, and whatever the limited knowledge we have today, based on that, definitely we can develop or we can assimilate the universe, but we cannot say that is the perfect or it is the absolute. Okay, so that means it is a model for the time being. As more information will come, we'll change our model. Okay.
That was very helpful, sir. Thank you. Now I would like Aditya to ask the next question.
Hello, sir. Please,
Hello.
please throw a little light on the statement. Nature is changing or change is nature?
Uh, okay. Nature is dynamic. Actually, it is changing. It is changing. It is changing. And this is a universal law or absolute law, because as we say, yesterday we were discussing about the Ganga cleaning of Ganga plan. uh, क्या हम गंगा को उसका जो ओरिजिनल ग्लोरी था वो वहां पर ला पाएंगे? That is not possible, because with the passage of time there is some deterioration of the things, maybe towards good or toward maybe the bad side, that we don't know. So but nature is not constant, it is dynamic, it is changing, it is changing. So it's not it's not the change is nature, but nature is changing. Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir. This was very informative. Over to you, Sambhav.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
My name is Sambhav and I am from class 5. My question to you is, if energy can't be created or destroyed, why is there an energy crisis?
ओके, वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग क्वेश्चन। आपने अभी आइंस्टाइन के बारे में हमने शुरुआत में बात की थी कि एनर्जी और मास यानी मैटर, मैटर और एनर्जी सेम चीज है। मैटर को एनर्जी में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं और एनर्जी को मैटर में कन्वर्ट कर सकते हैं। ये बाय बाय साइंटिफिकली, थियोरिटिकली आज की तारीख में दिस इज पॉसिबल। Okay, but we have not yet achieved that level where energy can be condensed back to the matter, or matter can be converted into energy, like on which the atomic bomb was made. But other way processes today is not possible. In future it may be possible. Secondly, you said energy can, yes, it is true, energy cannot be created. It is a fixed amount of energy in the universe. Okay, it cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed, but it changes from one form to the other. So suppose you are you need a energy of a particular kind, like you need an electricity, which you are making by burning of burning of coal. Okay, so then you converted that energy into mechanical energy by running the motor or something like that. But suppose the water by which you can drink a water, but you have washed the utensils at your home, and remaining water can you use for drinking? What is your answer? No, you cannot. So but water is still a water. Quantum of water is safe. So that form of energy which you required, it is not in that form, but energy remain in total 100 hai, to 100 wo rahegi, but it may not be in a usable form which you need. सो दैट्स वाई क्राइसिस इसलिए होता है कि हमारे को जो एनर्जी चाहिए, वी नीड इलेक्ट्रिसिटी मेनली to run our industry, our manufacturing units, our offices, everything. So here just now we are making that energy by burning the coal और न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी। सो न्यूक्लियर, जब हम कोल जलाते हैं तो उसमें बहुत सारा जो पार्टिकल है वो कार्बन का आ जाता है। दैट मीन्स इट द एंटायर मैटर इज नॉट कन्वर्टेड इनटू एनर्जी। बट टुडे द बेस्ट ऑप्शन इज एटॉमिक एनर्जी, क्योंकि वो पूरा एटम, वी नीड ए वेरी स्मॉल अमाउंट ऑफ मैटर इन दैट, and it entire matter is converted into energy. We don't have a much wastage in that. So that's why that is the technically scientifically it is the best option today. And that's why many country like France, Germany, and they are their their energy around 80 to 90% is coming from nuclear power energy. So that's the whole thing, कि आपको जो पर्पस के लिए एनर्जी चाहिए वो एक खास किस्म की एनर्जी चाहिए ना। तो अगर वो उसका शेप बदल गया, जैसे मैंने पानी का एग्जांपल दिया, पानी आपके घर में आता है, पानी आप इस्तेमाल करते हो, पीने के लिए भी और कपड़े धोने के लिए भी। और पानी से कपड़े धोने के बाद क्या उस पानी को आप पीने के लिए इस्तेमाल कर सकते हो? नहीं ना। सेम इज विद द एनर्जी, बट पानी तो पानी रहेगा। सी वो पानी आपका जो जिससे आपने कपड़े धोए, वो आपका पानी सिंक में जाएगा, सिंक से किसी रिवर में, नाले में जाएगा और फाइनली सी में चले जाएगा। सो टोटल अमाउंट ऑफ वाटर विल रिमेन सेम, बट इट विल नॉट बी यूजेबल फॉर द पर्पस फॉर ड्रिंकिंग। सेम इज विद द एनर्जी। या, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, sir. Today I've learned something new. Over to Ananya.
Good evening, sir. I am Ananya of class 5. I would like to ask you, how should tourism with environmental protection be developed?
Yes. हमारे साथ दिक्कत क्या हो रहा है कि टूरिज्म को लेके, वाइल्ड लाइफ को लेके, एनवायरनमेंट को लेके एक अवेयरनेस तो है। हम लोग बहुत सारी जगह में जो हमारे नेशनल पार्क हैं, सैंक्चुरीज हैं, एंड गवर्नमेंट हैज ए प्लान टू स्पॉट न्यू places for tourism, which we call it a eco-tourism. Eco-tourism का मतलब यही है कि हम will go to the spot, will enjoy the beauty of nature, the wildlife, but with some discipline. We will not will not destroy that nature. पहले होता था ना, राजा महाराजा बोलते हम आखेट के लिए जा रहे हैं, है ना? अगर महाभारत में देखा है, एंड आखेट में कर क्या रहे हैं? दे आर किलिंग द एनिमल. So they are going to the jungle, they are going for the tourism, but they are destroying the nature. But here now we are protecting the nature, and also in such a way that it is not disturbing. But यहाँ पे एक एग्जाम्पल मैं देना चाहूँगा, ऐसा गवर्नमेंट ने जितना भी प्लान पॉलिसी बनाते हैं उसमें थोड़ा तो नुकसान होता है, बिकॉज आई हैड बीन टू काजीरंगा. काजीरंगा में सड़क बना है, और सड़क से क्योंकि जो वहाँ पे बहुत सारे हाथी हैं, अब हाथी जो है वो सड़क क्रॉस नहीं करते, उनको लगता है कि ये बैरियर है, तो अभी वो एक रिस्ट्रिक्टेड एरिया में रह गए हैं. तो वहाँ पे क्या होता है कि उनको जितना पानी चाहिए, जितना खाना चाहिए, वो नहीं है. मतलब आपके, मान लो आपके घर के आगे से सड़क निकाल दी किसी ने, ना यू विल बी अफ्रेड ऑफ क्रॉसिंग द रोड ना. सेम थिंग इज हैपनिंग विद दोज एलिफेंट्स. तो ये व्हेन वी आर प्लानिंग any developmental project we are taking at such places, we should be very, very careful. We should study the impact of that developmental project on those life form, that it should not be harming the interest. तो अभी मैं ये देखता हूँ वहाँ पे कि बहुत सारे जो हाथी है, वो हर्ड है, वो सड़क के एक साइड पे खड़े हैं, they're not crossing the road. तो उनका एरिया ऑफ घूमने फिरने का कम हो गया. So यहाँ पे tourism we should promote, and also there are a lot of people who are going there. They play very loud music, they had this firework and all that. तो वो एक that discipline is not there in our citizen to some extent. So whenever we are developing these kinds of things, as a citizen we need to be sensitize ourselves that कोई मेरे घर में आके नाचने गाने लगे, जोर जोर से ढोल बजाए, कैसा लगेगा मुझे? एंड सेम थिंग वी आर डूइंग टू दैट एनिमल, बिकॉज वो उनका घर है भाई, है ना? मेरे को अगर एक थोड़ा आजादी मिला है कि इफ आई एम गोइंग एज अ गेस्ट टू योर हाउस, सो देन आई शुड बिहेव इन a disciplined way. So if we are doing that thing, I think it is a good thing, otherwise it is not. And I found अभी हमारा थोड़ा education का level in terms of going as a guest to the animal community is not good. हम सोचते हैं वो हमारा क्या बोलते हैं, हमारा हक है, but it is not. क्योंकि nature ने, every life form in nature has been assigned a particular responsibility. Any life form. तो हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि उसका हमको जरूरत नहीं है, we can destroy it, or the number is more, blah blah blah. So we need to respect each and every life form. हमारा अगर आप पुराना अपने इंडियन ग्रंथों में देखेंगे तो हम चींटी को भी आटा खिलाते थे. वी आर नर्चरिंग इवन दैट लाइफ. Okay, so ant to elephant, and algae to to tree like people. Everything has, we have worship. We all our festivals are, you can find out, they are dependent on this the product of forest produce. हमारा जितना भगवान है, सबके जो वाहन है, आप देखेंगे वो सारे वाइल्ड लाइफ के हैं. कोई शेर है, कोई गरुड़ है, कोई चूहा है, कोई मोर है, कार्तिकेय का मोर है, गणेशा का चूहा है, काली माँ का और दुर्गा का वो है, टाइगर है. So everything has, and this was a method of protecting the wildlife by converting or by correlating it with your religious practices, so that you start respecting the life form. Because और वो सारे टॉप आपको मिलेंगे, ये सारे टॉप जो फूड चेन में जो टॉप कॉर्निवोरस जो या हर्बीवोरस होते हैं, वही ये एनिमल है. Because today we are having a project tiger, project elephant, and now recently the project dolphin has been launched, Ganga dolphin. So these are the elements, if they are in a particular number, and down the line all life form will be you can say are in a healthy mood. So that's why, like, this is whenever we are talking about the tourism, we have to be a bit the project or the development which need to be done around that area need to be environmentally assessed before the clearance is given. This is very important. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. That was very enlightening.
Thank you.
Over to Shaurya.
Shaurya, your voice is bit yeah, it's breaking now, please.
I am fine. It is a pleasure to ask. I would like to ask, galaxies look stationary. Why do science say they?
Shaurya's question was, sir, were you able to hear his question?
No, I couldn't make anything. Yeah.
His voice is, can somebody repeat his question?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Galaxies look stationary, then why do scientists say they rotate?
Okay. A very interesting question. Yeah, this is again a perception. हम लोग perception पे नहीं जाते. अभी अगर हम perception पे जाएं तो सूरज is कहाँ से निकलता है? पूरब से निकलता है, पश्चिम में चले जाता है, छिप जाता है. ऐसा बोलते हैं ना, यही पढ़ा है ना बुक में. Sun is rising in the east and setting in the west. ऐसा बोलते हैं ना. But is it so? What is reality? It is not the sun is moving. It is the earth is rotating because of that. Okay, so same thing is that the galaxies is so big, we don't feel that movement. You do one experiment. When I was a student, this was a example which was given in our book कि ऐसा बोलते थे कि अर्थ तो रोटेट कर रही है, ठीक है, तो हमको पता क्यों नहीं लगता, या हम गिर क्यों नहीं जाते नीचे. That was the question which used to come in my mind. So then one experiment was suggested for us कि you take a big thali, okay, and उसको आप rotate करो, and you put few ants on that. So you will find the thali is rotating and ants are moving in its own way. It is not affecting that movement. They're not affected by that movement. Same thing is with us, because it's a question of size. It's the galaxies is so huge कि हमारा उसमें we have almost non-existent identity in that. तो हमें पता ही नहीं लगता कि वो घूम रही है. गैलेक्सी पे क्यों जाना है? Earth is rotating. Even we don't feel that. Only by indirect evidences कि सन छुप गया, निकल गया, we realize कि ये अभी है, मतलब ये वाला फेज जो है अर्थ का सन के सामने आ गया और ये चले गया. We presume through indirect evidences. So direct evidence मिलना थोड़ा हमारे लिए मुश्किल है. And even the shape of galaxies is also reconstructed through computer, because आप कैसे उसका पिक्चर लेंगे? गैलेक्सी से बाहर जाके ही लेंगे ना, तो वो आप जा नहीं सकते. So this is like here we take the help of computer assimilation kind of. So it's a perception basically. It is moving. It is moving, but we don't perceive it. हमारा तो इन सेंसेस बहुत छोटा है ना. हमें अर्थ का ही नहीं पता लग रहा कि वो रोटेट करती है, तो गैलेक्सी का कैसे पता लगेगा? True. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. That's personally very interesting. I would ask Sonakshi Jain to take the conversation forward.
Good evening, sir. I am Sonakshi Jain from class 5. I would like you to reflect on this statement and shed some light on it. Diseases jumping from animals to humans will continue without action to protect the environment. What do you think, sir?
Just can you repeat it again? What is
So
the
my
statement?
question is, diseases jumping from animals to humans will continue without action to protect the environment. What do you think, sir?
You are saying like, sorry, again, Gayatri, can you just repeat the question?
Yeah. I think the question is, sir, that the diseases are moving from animals to human beings, and if we are not going to protect the environment, this process will continue.
Okay, yeah, Sonakshi, you're very right. और ये मैं आपको बता दूं कि ये स्टेटमेंट आपका जो कोरोना के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बहुत सही है, क्योंकि अभी तक हम देखते हैं कि एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग एग्जांपल ये है कि इट्स अ मोर देन 100 वायरसेस. कोरोना के 100 से ज्यादा वायरस के फैमिली मेंबर्स हैं, and they all have living so peacefully in the bats. They are part of their microbiome. उसका saliva में रहता है, कोई intestine में रहता है, and they are not harming that. They are living in a perfect harmony with that bat. And now we have disturbed that area in which this life form is living. हमने क्या करा कि हमने bat को खाना शुरू कर दिया, because bat is eaten in China and many African country. क्योंकि मैमल है तो वहां तो कुत्ते बिल्ली सब खाया जाता है. एनीथिंग विच गिव्स अ प्रोटीन इज अ फूड फॉर मेनी ट्राइबल एंड वेरी सिविलाइज्ड कम्युनिटी इन चाइना. सो दैट मीन्स वी हैव इंक्रोच इन द एरिया ऑफ वाइल्ड लाइफ. जो अभी पहले भी सवाल ये था मेरे को कि हमने उनके एरिया में, मैं उनके घर में गया हूँ, उनके घर में घुसा हूं मैं, एंड नाउ एनवायरमेंटली देयर इज अ स्ट्रेस on the life form which is the host for this virus. अब उस वायरस को जो 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 होस्ट है वो स्ट्रेस में है, एनवायरमेंटल स्ट्रेस में है, तो उसके अंदर जो वायरस या बैक्टीरिया है वो भी स्ट्रेस में है. सो हियर दे विल ट्राई टू फाइंड ए न्यू होस्ट. सो ये कोरोना वायरस जो है, आपने अगर इसको वो पढ़ेंगे, बैट से ये कुछ दूसरा लाइफ फॉर्म में हुआ और फिर फाइनली ह्यूमन बींग्स में आया है. एंड ह्यूमन बींग्स में आके उसको एक परफेक्ट, बोलते हैं ना कि एक ऐसा जगह मिल गई कि ही इज मल्टीप्लाइंग अनरिस्ट्रिक्टेडली. वाइल्ड लाइफ में अगर किसी एनिमल में होता, सो दे मे बी हैविंग ए मोर इम्यूनिटी. ही मे नॉट हैव सर्वाइव दैट in such a good way. But now we don't have a immunity for this virus. We have no vaccine for this virus. So he is ruling the world. In such a short period of time, he has spread. So he's the most successful, the life form of this year, in terms of, if we look at the survival or look at the thing in a way of survival of the fittest theory of Darwin. So he is also a life form. He is also looking for a better option कि जहां मैं रह रहा था वो आपने मेरे को वहां से निकाल दिया या मजबूर किया वहां से. And now I have found the most convenient host for me, which is best for me from the virus perspective, not from the human perspective. तो ये एक अभी ये पहली बात नहीं हुआ है. स्वाइन फ्लू का भी आपने सुना था, बर्ड फ्लू का भी सुना था. These are all, they were the viruses. And then before that we had this HIV virus. They all have come through animals, and इनका mainly इनका source bat ही रहा है. Bat से bird में, bird से dog में, या caveat में, और इसमें pangolin, and finally it has come to the human being. And जितना हमारा environment का जो खासकर फॉरेस्ट का सिचुएशन खराब होगा, जहां पे इतना सारा वाइल्ड लाइफ। अभी WHO के रिपोर्ट में अगर आप देखेंगे तो 1400 पैथोजेनिक बैक्टीरिया, वायरसेस, फंगस का हमारे पास रिकॉर्ड है। अभी ये नया हो गया बिकॉज वी डोंट हैड द रिकॉर्ड ऑफ दिस थिंग, बट more and more encroachment into the forest area, cutting of the forest, तो वो जो वायरस है, these are the repository of these harmful bacteria, maybe which may turn out to be harmful to the human beings. Not only that, बहुत सारे बैक्टीरिया, वायरसेस जो ग्लेशियर में दब गए थे, now the ice is melting, there's another threat of new kind of virus and bacteria. जो वो मतलब ग्लेशियर मेल्ट होगा, वहां पे जो लेयर था, जो 1000 ईयर से जो लेयर के अंदर दबा हुआ है, वो वायरस, वो बैक्टीरिया बाहर निकलेगा. सो वी आर अटैक्ड फ्रॉम many things if we not care about our environment, if we don't see. क्योंकि अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि गंगा के बारे में हम लोग अभी कुछ काम कर रहे थे, तो गंगा का जो ओरिजिन है गोमुख, वो 14 किलोमीटर पीछे चले गया और ग्लेशियर का साइज रिड्यूस हो गया है. ओके, जो पेरिनियल रिवर है गंगा, इट बिकम ए सीजनल नाउ. तो ये सारा कहीं ना कहीं हम देख रहे हैं कि ग्लेशियर का आइस अगर मेल्ट हो गया है, वहां पे जो वायरस छुपे हुए थे वो आएंगे. फिर फॉरेस्ट भी हमने काट दिया. फॉरेस्ट में जो वो जिसको वो होस्ट करके रखा हुआ था फॉरेस्ट ने, चाहे वो किसी प्लांट में था या किसी एनिमल में था, वो डायरेक्टली ह्यूमन के टच में आ गया. तो और ह्यूमन जो है वो काफी वाइब्रेंट उसको होस्ट लगता है. तो ये दिस इज अ बिगिनिंग. यू आर राइट माय डियर, आई रियली इट्स नॉट एन एंड. हम लोग, मुझे लगता है कि साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी ओनली नाउ इन्वेस्टिंग ऑन डिस्कवरिंग न्यू एंड न्यू वैक्सीन्स ओनली, because this is one virus, tomorrow something else will come. And these viruses are very smart because it's a RNA based virus. It has the highest ability to mutate itself, to change itself. तो अभी आपने देखा होगा कि वो WHO का भी आ रहा है कि सिंगल वैक्सीन मे नॉट बी यूजफुल टू अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड. तो आपको बहुत सारा स्ट्रेन लाना पड़े, बहुत सारा वैक्सीन अलग अलग करना पड़ेगा. और वो वैक्सीन कितने दिन इफेक्टिव रहती है, this we also don't know. So situation environmentally is really very bad and we are not taking it seriously. Because अभी ये केस से हमको पता लगा है कि कोई भी सेफ नहीं होगा. हमारा पॉलिटिशियन सोचता था ना कि मैं घर में कुछ एयर फिल्टर लगा लूंगा तो मुझे तो अच्छी हवा मिलेगी. बट अभी हमको पता लग गया कि ऐसे प्रॉब्लम में एवरीबडी इज एट रिस्क. कुछ भी प्रोटेक्शन आपका काम नहीं आएगा. So we have to care the mother nature, we have to respect our immediate surrounding, our environment. That's the only solution. And love and care for all life. क्योंकि अगर हमने थोड़ा भी क्रूअल्टी दिखाई तो वो स्ट्रेस में आता है, तो उसका जो भी माइक्रोबायोम है वो स्ट्रेस में आता है और वो पास ऑन करने की कोशिश करेगा दूसरे लाइफ फॉर्म में, और हो सकता है दूसरी लाइफ फॉर्म वो आप ही. तो with this note, I think मुझे लगता है कि we have to be very very careful now about our future. And also because आप देखो, अगर ऐसा एक वायरस और आ जाता है तो हमारा इकोनॉमी का क्या होगा, हमारा सोशल बिहेवियर का क्या होगा, स्कूल, हमारा सिस्टम एजुकेशन का क्या होगा. Because online education is not an sorry, is not a solution. क्योंकि जो टीचर के साथ आप डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट में आते हैं, तो एजुकेशन डजंट मीन ओनली हैविंग एन इंफॉर्मेशन. टीचर इज शेपिंग योर पर्सनालिटी एज अ होल. तो आई फील कि ये खत्म हो एंड वी शुड बिकम ए मोर रिस्पॉन्सिबल सिटीजन इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रोटेक्टिंग अवर एनवायरनमेंट एंड प्रोटेक्टिंग एंड केयरिंग अबाउट द ऑल द लाइफ. जो हमारे धर्मों में कब से ये बात वो बोल रहे हैं, लिखा गया है, वो करते भी थे. और ये सारा जो गड़बड़ हुआ है सिर्फ लास्ट पिछले 50 साल का है. तो अगर हम 50 साल पहले वाली जिंदगी जीना शुरू कर दें तो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत सारा जो बचाव है हम लोग कर सकते हैं. सो एनी अदर क्वेश्चन?
Thank you, sir.
No,
That was
sir.
certainly enlightening.
I would like to thank you. You answered the questions. Answered the questions of our children so patiently and so simply that they could understand. That was the beauty of it, because for you to, be able to explain these complex matters in simple terms to the children, which they will understand, was very nice. And I absolutely love the explanation of coronavirus that you gave, because that's the thing that is bothering the world, and the children are hearing about it. Even their lives are affected. So that was some really useful information. And your simple explanation of science, that it is there are patterns in nature, there is a plan of nature, and we just have to unfurl or discover that plan that is there for us to understand what science is. So really, really nice, sir. Thank you so much for being here. And I will just hand over to my young student Namit, because he wants to thank you also.
On behalf of everyone here today, thank you so much, sir, for your time and enriching words. We appreciate the valuable information, advice, and the expertise you have shared with all of us. The students gained valuable insight in the area of science communication, and the information you shared was very enlightening. Nature is indeed a great teacher. We are fortunate to have you with us as today's speaker. This enriching session will positively affect the qualities of critical thinking of our children. I also extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Sushila Negi for sparing her valuable time and gracing the occasion. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll end the
Thank you.
meeting here.